And we're live. Welcome to the Monday edition of Wisdom Readings. And thank you for joining us and making it your commitment to be with us on a daily basis and read with us, all the wisdom that we are sharing on a daily basis. You can join us every day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, except for Thursday. It's the Books Are the Basis book club, where we discuss the Krishna book at this point in time. And obviously, we're going to be going in detail with other books as well that are within the Krishna consciousness library of the Bhaktivedanta books. I think today we are starting a new book, and this one is called the Sri Ishopanishad. And the readings are going to be going on a daily basis, and obviously we have to start from the beginning, and the beginning is going to be the introduction before we get to what the essence of the Sri Ishopanishad is. And I think the introduction is the perfect place to start. And the introduction is delivered as a lecture by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada on the October the 6th in 1969 at Conway Hall in London, England. And we are very, very fortunate, to actually get to the essence of what the book is all about from His Divine Grace, who was actually the leader and the founder of the International Society of Krishna Consciousness. So I am going to read the introduction out to you and also discuss some of the points that are being mentioned in the introduction. Just to give my view. Doesn't mean it's going to be right, but it's just going to be my feeling, about, what His Divine Grace will be mentioning and telling us about in this introduction. So the introduction reads as follows, without any waste of time. Ladies and gentlemen, today's subject matter is the teaching of the Vedas. What are the Vedas? The Sanskrit verbal root of Veda can be interpreted variously, but the purport is finally one. Veda means knowledge. Any knowledge you accept is Veda. For the teachings of the Veda are the original knowledge. In the conditioned state, our knowledge is subjected to many deficiencies. The difference between a conditioned soul and a liberated soul is that the conditioned soul has 4 kinds of defects. The first defect is that he must commit mistakes. The example in our country, Mahatma Gandhi, and that's in India, was considered to be a very great personality, but he committed many mistakes. Even at the last stage of his life, his assistant warned Mahatma Gandhi, don't go to New Delhi meeting. I have some friends and I have heard there is danger, but he did not hear or listen. He persisted in going and was killed. Even great personalities like Mahatma Gandhi, President Kennedy, there are so many of them, make mistakes. To err is human. And that's like the very popular saying that we always, say to a person that has made a mistake so that they can feel, better about making a mistake, making a mistake and actually quickly move on and forget about the mistake that they have made. But that is something that is a defect in the life of a conditioned soul. This is one defect of the conditioned soul, and that's what the introduction is saying. Another defect is to be illusioned. Illusion means to accept something which is not. Maya. Maya means what is not. Everyone is accepting the body as the self. If I ask you what you are, you will say, I am Mr. John. I am rich. I am a rich man. And I am this. I am that. All these are bodily identifications, but you are not this body. This is illusion. The third defect is the teaching propensity. Wow. Everyone has the propensity to cheat others. Although a person is fool number one, he possesses himself as very intelligent. He poses himself as very intelligent, although it is already pointed out that he is in illusion and makes mistakes. He will theorize. I think this is this. This is this. But he does not even know his own position. He writes books of philosophy, although he is defective. That is his disease. That is cheating. Wow. Yeah, cheating comes in different forms. You can get cheated in a market. You can get cheated, by reading a book that does not express facts or teach you about the truth. That then you are getting, knowledge that is considered to be speculation. And when you are getting speculative knowledge, you are being cheated because now your brain is going to be believing what is not. And you are supposed to be, more you must get the truth, you must get fed the truth on a regular basis so that you become a truthful person. If you are being cheated, you are prone to become a cheater yourself. And that is, I think, the basis of that paragraph. And lastly, our senses are imperfect. We are very proud of our eyes. Often someone will challenge, can you show me God? But do you have the eyes to see God? You will never see if you haven't the eyes. If immediately the room becomes dark, you cannot even see your hand. So what power do you have to see? We cannot therefore expect knowledge, which is Veda, with these imperfect senses. With all these deficiencies in conditioned life, we cannot give perfect knowledge to anyone, nor are we ourselves perfect. Therefore, we accept the Vedas as they are. Wow. The senses are very imperfect. It's quite something. Yeah. You may call the Vedas Hindu, but Hindu is a foreign name. We are not Hindu. Our real identification is Varnashrama. Varnashrama denotes the followers of the Vedas, those who accept the human society in 8 divisions of Varna and Ashrama. There are 4 divisions of society and 4 divisions of spiritual life. This is called Varnashrama. It is stated in the Bhagavad Gita. These divisions are everywhere because they are created by God. The divisions of society are Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Sudra. Brahmana refers to the very intelligent class of men, those who know what is Brahman, that is the Supreme Krishna. Similarly, the Kshatriyas, the administrator group, are the next intelligent class of men. Then the Vaishyas, the mercantile group, are the ones that come below the Kshatriyas. And these natural classifications are found everywhere. This is the Vedic principle, and we accept it. And you find that in communities mainly, and that's the constitution of how the communities are actually divided. So we carry on. And the Vaishyas of the mental group, then these natural classifications are found everywhere. This is the Vedic principle, and we accept it. Vedic principles are accepted as axiomatic truth, for there cannot be any mistake. That is acceptance. Yeah. So it is very, very important for us to accept it as the truth, so that I think that opens up, the ability to actually learn something from it. For instance, in India, cow dung is accepted as pure, and yet cow dung is the stool of an animal. In one place, you'll find the Vedic injunction that if you touch stool, you have to take a bath immediately. But in another place, it is said that the stool of a cow is pure. If you smear cow dung in an impure place, that place becomes pure. Yeah, that's something that I think quite a lot of I think growing up, when I visited my grandmother, who has a homestead in Polokwane, I would generally find that the entrance, or the balcony, I would say the balcony, which is like the area before you actually enter the house, would have like cow dung being spread, around that area. And it was actually something that was practiced, regularly. And I didn't know, little did I know that this was like something that actually purified the place and made sure that the place was much, much pure. So it's quite something. And I carry on. With our ordinary sense, we can argue. This is contradictory. Actually, it is contradictory from the ordinary point of view, but it is not false. It is fact. In Calcutta, a very prominent scientist and doctor analyzed cow dung and found that it contains all antiseptic properties. Oh, wow. And that's actually supporting the whole reason why it was actually used as part of cleaning, I would say, cleaning process within, a yard, and the balcony that actually received people on a regular basis in our African homesteads. I've experienced it. I've seen it happen, and my grandmother used to do it. So yeah, I think it was that antiseptic thing, and we didn't need a scientist. It's funny enough that we didn't need a scientist to actually prove that. It was something that we grew up with, and yeah, quite amazing that it's been actually mentioned here. In India, if one person tells another You must do this. The other party may say, what do you mean? Is this a Vedic injunction that I have to follow you without any argument? Vedic injunctions cannot be interpreted. But ultimately, if you carefully study why these injunctions are there, you will find that they are all correct. Wow. That's yeah. Mm, instruction. Yeah. And the importance of following instruction and not arguing. Oh, yeah, without argument. Yeah, the Vedas are not a compilation of human knowledge. Vedic knowledge comes from the spiritual world, from Lord Krishna. Another name for the Vedas is Shruti. Shruti refers to that knowledge which is acquired by hearing. It is not experimental knowledge. Shruti is considered to be like a mother. We take so much knowledge from our mother. For example, if you want to know who your father is, who can answer you? Your mother. If the mother says, "Here is your father," you have to accept it. It is not possible to experiment to find out whether he is your father. Similarly, if you want to know something beyond your experience, beyond your experimental knowledge, beyond the activities of the senses, then you have to accept the Vedas. There is no question of experimenting. It has already been experimented. It is already settled. The version of the mother, for instance, has to be accepted as truth. There is no other way. And we have to be very mindful of the angle at which His Divine Grace Prabhupada is actually talking um, with relation to a mother and a mother's role within family, and the mother as like the first guru to a child. You would actually believe that the mother is actually the first person that actually teaches a child spirituality and teaches a child quite a lot actually about life, walking, you know, doing quite a lot of things and learning. That's the first teacher. And that's the angle at which, I think Prabhupada is giving that example from. And it's quite important and very, very, we must be very mindful of that angle, because in Kali Yuga, quite a lot of arguments happen with regards to that kind of a question, and quite a lot of families get disrupted in terms of their progress because of those kind of experiences that usually don't go in the way that they are supposed to be go, and there's no truthfulness, and there's quite a lot of doubts. And yeah, I mean, it's Kali Yuga, so you would expect something like that, in an example that was just given by Prabhupada right now, to somehow go wrong in this age, mainly because of the effect of the age. The Vedas are considered to be the mother, and Brahma is called the grandfather, the forefather, because he was the first to be instructed in the Vedic knowledge. In the beginning, the first living creature was Brahma. He received this Vedic knowledge and imparted it to Narada and other disciples and sons. And they also distributed it to their discipline, to their disciples. In this way, the Vedic knowledge comes down by disciplic succession, which is the parampara. It is also confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita that Vedic knowledge is understood in this way. If you make experimental endeavor, you come to the same conclusion. But just to save time, you should accept. I'm sorry about that. If you want to know who your father is, and if you accept your mother as the authority, then whatever she says can be accepted without argument. There are three kinds of evidence, which is the pratyaksa, anumana, and shabda. Pratyaksa means direct evidence. Direct evidence is not very good because our senses are not perfect. This was mentioned earlier. We are seeing the sun daily, and it appears to us just like a small disk, but it is actually far, far larger than many planets. Of what value is this seeing? Therefore, we have to read books, then we can understand about the sun. So, direct experience is not perfect. Seeing is believing. Yeah, you have to think twice. Then there is anumana, inductive knowledge. It may be like this, which is the hypothesis. Okay, that's inductive knowledge. It comes down to hypothesis. For instance, Darwin theory, which is the man's evolution theory, says it may be like this, it may be like that, but that is not science. That is a suggestion. And it is also not perfect. But if you receive the knowledge from the authoritative sources, that is perfect. If you receive a program guide from the radio station authorities, you accept it. You don't deny it. You don't have to make an experiment because it is received from the authoritative sources. And that's our day-to-day life. We believe what we hear on the radio. There's going to be load shedding, and there is load shedding. That's what happens, go back to reading. Vedic knowledge is called Sabda Pramana. Another name is Shruti. Shruti means that this knowledge has to be received simply by oral reception. The Vedas instruct that in order to understand transcendental knowledge, we have to hear from the authority. Transcendental knowledge is knowledge from beyond this universe. Within this universe is material knowledge, and beyond this universe is transcendental knowledge. We cannot even go to the end of the universe. So how can we go to the spiritual world? Thus, to acquire full knowledge is impossible. Wow, in our lifetime, that is true. Yeah, this seems to be quite a lot of knowledge that goes on for lifetimes, lifetime after lifetime. The knowledge is so much. There is a spiritual sky, and there is another nature, which is beyond manifestation and non-manifestation. But how will you know that there is a sky where the planets and inhabitants are eternal? All this knowledge is there, but how will you make experiments? It is not possible. Therefore, you have to take the assistance of the Vedas. This is where the Vedas are very, very crucial. They intercept the knowledge about the universe, and according to His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada, this is the truth about the universe that we always imagine and think and give our own appearance. It says the real appearance and the real definition and the real description is in the Vedas. This is called Vedic knowledge. In our Krishna consciousness movement, we are accepting knowledge from the highest authority, Krishna. Krishna is accepted as the highest authority by all classes of men. I am speaking first of the two classes of transcendentalists. One class of transcendentalists is called the impersonalistic Mayavadi. They are generally known as Vedantists, led by Shankaracharya. And there is another class of transcendentalists called Vaishnavas, like Ramanuja Shara, Madhva Shara, Vishnu Swami. Both the Shankara Sampradaya and the Vaishnava Sampradaya have accepted Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Sankaracharya is supposed to be an impersonalist who preached impersonalism, impersonal Brahman, but it is a fact that he is a covered personalist. In his commentary on the Bhagavad Gita, he wrote, Narayana, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is beyond this cosmic manifestation. And then again, he confirmed that Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayana, is Krishna. He has come as the son of Devaki and Vasudeva. He particularly mentioned the names of his father and mother. So Krishna is accepted as the Supreme Personality of Godhead by all transcendentalists. There is no doubt about it. Our source of knowledge in Krishna consciousness is the Bhagavad Gita, which comes directly from Krishna. We have published Bhagavad Gita as it is because we accept Krishna as he is speaking without any interpretation. That is Vedic knowledge. Since the Vedic knowledge is pure, we accept it. Whatever Krishna says, we accept. This is Krishna consciousness. That saves much time. If you accept the right authority, our source of knowledge, then you save much time. For example, there are two systems of knowledge in the material world, inductive and deductive. From deductive, you accept that man is mortal. Your father says man is mortal. Your sister says man is mortal. Everyone says man is mortal. But you do not experiment. You accept it as a fact that man is mortal. If you want to research to find out whether man is mortal, you have to study each and every man. And you may come to think that there may be some man who is not dying, but you have not seen him yet. So in this way, your research will never be finished. You will probably die before you finish it. That's me. In Sanskrit, this process is called aroha, the ascending process. If you want to attain knowledge by any personal endeavor, by exercising your imperfect senses, you will never come to the right conclusion. That is not possible. And that's true. That's really, really true. And a very good example, to go with it. There is a statement in the Brahma Samhita just ride on the airplane which runs at the speed of mind. Our material airplanes can run 2,000 miles per hour. But what is the speed of mind? You are sitting at home. You immediately think of India, say 10,000 miles away, yeah, or more. And at once, it is in your home. Your mind has gone there. The mind speed is so swift. Therefore, it is stated, if you travel at this speed of for millions of years, you will find that the spiritual sky is unlimited. It is not possible even to approach it. Therefore, the Vedic injunction is that one must approach the word. The word compulsory is used. Yeah, so it's compulsory to approach a bona fide spiritual master, a guru. And what is the qualification of a spiritual master, you ask? He is one who has rightly heard the Vedic message from the right source. So a spiritual master also has a spiritual master, and he must practically be firmly established in Brahman, the supreme. And these are the two qualities he must have. Otherwise, he is not bona fide. Mm. So, must not be worldly, four regulative principles. Yeah, they're very, very important in this. So, yeah, I think, reading the Bhagavad Gita helps, because that's where Krishna actually breaks it down and actually describes, um, what a bona fide um, spiritual master should be and how they should act. And by noticing that, and by actually seeing that, and making sure that the person that you are about to take instruction from has those kind of qualities, then you are in the right direction. This Krishna consciousness movement is completely authorized from from Vedic principles. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says the actual aim of Vedic research is to find out Krishna. In the Brahma Samhita, it is also stated Krishna Govinda has innumerable forms, but they are all one. That's very interesting. I'll repeat that. Krishna Govinda has innumerable forms, but they are all one. That's very important. They are not like our forms, which are fallible. His form is infallible. The form has my form has a beginning, but his form has no beginning. It is Ananta, and his form, so many multiforms, has no end. Wow. My form is sitting here and not in my apartment. You are sitting there and not in your apartment. True. I'm sitting here, I'm not at work in my office. But Krishna can be everywhere at one time. Wow. He can sit down in Goloka Vrindavan, and at the same time, he is everywhere, all pervading. Wow. He is original, the oldest. But whenever you look at a picture of Krishna, you'll find a young boy, 15 or 20 years old. So it doesn't get old. Yeah. You will never find an old man. You have seen pictures of Krishna as a charioteer from the Bhagavad Gita. At that time, he was not less than 100 years old. He had great grandchildren, but he looked just like a boy. Wow. Krishna, God, never becomes old. That is his supreme power. And if you want to search out Krishna by studying the Vedic literature, then you will be baffled. It may be possible, but it is very difficult. Mm, wow. But you can very easily learn about him and from his devotees. His devotees can deliver him to you. Here he is, take him. That is the potency of Krishna's devotees. Wow. So association and choosing the right guru is very, very, they go hand in hand and are very important in one's um, progress, in finally gaining understanding of the supreme. Yeah, it's quite something. Yeah. Originally, there was only one Veda, and there was no necessity of reading it. People were so intelligent and had such sharp memories that by once hearing from the lips of the spiritual master, they would understand. Wow. They would immediately grasp the whole purport. But 5,000 years ago, Vyasadeva put the Vedas in writing for the people in this age, Kali Yuga. He knew that eventually the people would be short lived, their memories would be very poor, and their intelligence would not be very sharp. Therefore, let me teach this Vedic knowledge in writing. He divided the Vedas into four: the Rich, Sama, Atharva, Yajur. Then he gave the charge of these Vedas to his different disciples. He then thought of the less intelligent class of men, the Shitri, Sudra, and Vijabandhu. He considered the women class and Sudra class, worker class, and Vijabandhu. Vijabandhu refers to those who are born in a high family but who are not properly qualified. A man who is born in the family of a Brahmana but is not qualified as a Brahmana is called a Vija Bandhu. For these persons, he compiled the Mahabharata, called the History of India, and the 18 Puranas. These are all parts of the Vedic literature: the Puranas, the Mahabharata, the four Vedas, and the Upanishads. The Upanishads are part of the Vedas. Then Vyasadeva summarized all Vedic knowledge for scholars and philosophers in what is called the Vedanta Sutra. This is the last word of the Vedas. Vyasadeva personally wrote the Vedanta Sutra under the instruction of Narada, his Guru Maharaja, spiritual master. But still, he was not satisfied. That is a long story described in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Vyasadeva was not very satisfied even after compiling many Puranas and Upanishads, and even after writing the Vedanta Sutra. Then his spiritual master, Narada, instructed him, "You explain the Vedanta Sutra." Vedanta means ultimate knowledge, and the ultimate knowledge is Krishna. Krishna says that throughout all the Vedas, one has to understand him. Vedas Sha Shavir Aham Eva Vedya Ha. Krishna also says Vedanta Krida Vida Vid Eva Chaham. I am the compiler of the Vedanta Sutra, and I am the knower of the Vedas. This is in Bhagavad Gita, if I'm not wrong. Therefore, the ultimate objective is Krishna. That is explained in all the Vaishnava commentaries on the Vedanta philosophy. We, Gaudiya Vaishnavas, have our commentary on the Vedanta philosophy called the Govinda Bhashya by Baladeva Vidya Bhusana. Similarly, Ramanujacharya has a commentary and Madhvacharya has one. The version of Sankaracharya is not the only commentary. There are many Vedanta commentaries, but because the Vaishnavas did not present the first Vedanta commentary, people are under the wrong impression that Sankaracharya is the only Vedanta commentary. This is practically setting the record straight. Besides that, Vyasadeva himself wrote the perfect Vedanta commentary, Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam begins with the first word of the Vedanta Sutra, Janmadi Asya Yataha. And that Janmadi Asya Yataha is fully explained in the Srimad Bhagavatam. The Vedanta Sutra simply hints at what is Brahman, the absolute truth. The absolute truth is that from whom everything emanates. Wow. This is a summary, but it is explained in detail in Srimad Bhagavatam. If everything is emanating from the absolute truth, then what is the nature of the absolute truth? That is also explained in the Srimad Bhagavatam. The absolute truth must be consciousness. Yeah. He is self-effulgent, Shwarat. We develop our consciousness and knowledge by receiving knowledge from others. But for him, it is said that he is self-effulgent. The whole summary of Vedic knowledge is the Vedanta Sutra. And the Vedanta Sutra is explained by the writer himself in Srimad Bhagavatam. We finally request those who are actually after Vedic knowledge to try to understand the explanations of all Vedic knowledge from the Srimad Bhagavatam and the Bhagavad Gita. And that was a speech that was made by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada in England. And yeah, this is quite riveting. A good introduction to the Sri Ishopanishad, which is going to be our next book that we are going to be tackling for our wisdom readings on a daily basis. So I really can't wait to actually hear the first chapter tomorrow, which will be presented by Uno Musa, and to hear what that book will be all about. And this is like His Divine Grace, described the essence of the Vedas. Part of the Vedas are going to be broken down in this book, the Sri Ishopanishad. So I'm definitely looking forward to it, and I hope everybody that is here, that is watching, will also tune in tomorrow when Nomusa actually starts the book, it's always very good to actually get it from the beginning, so that you don't have you don't speculate at the end of the day, and you quite know where it all started and get the essence of what is going to be described from the beginning right into the middle and all the way to the end. Yeah, so today was very, very good. I think we've got a comment from Bonolo Rachidi. Thanks for watching. Hare Krishna. Tabaya Gandhi Yona. I guess that's why one is always warned about trying to involve yourself in politics. Yeah, well, that's really wow, something. When you are a spirit person, racism is never a good idea. Wow. Yeah, and to involve yourself in fights about racism is always not a good idea. Always choose. Today's reading is real. Thank you. Thank you for watching, Bonolo. And yeah, it's always very, very uh, advisable to know yourself and your position. And here, His Divine Grace is giving us that position. And once you are realized, and I think everything else becomes secondary, and your primary focus will be yourself and your position, and knowing what your purpose in life is, which is getting back to Godhead, and um getting a glimpse of the universe, like His Divine Grace was saying, that this knowledge is quite vast, and the universe is quite vast. It's huge, and it's not. It's too big for you to understand in one lifetime. So yeah, it's quite. Paramahamsa Dasmi, is also watching. Thank you for watching, my brother. Hare Krishna, my brother. Yeah, so my battery is about to end, and yeah, we went for almost an hour. Oh, yo, ndozibu, zwibuza kuti bani ubanu. This is tongue twister. This is inclusive, conclusive knowledge. Batu batema baka. Hey, wow, you are really twisting my tongue. And this is from Atma Tatvatas. Yeah, I think he appreciates what we've just had. Or the readings that we've just given on the introduction, and we're just only touching on the introductions. Clarity, the examples are amazing. Thank you, Wusa 108. I think till next time, guys. This has been quite a ball for me, and I hope it was the same for you. Till next time, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Keep chanting, and till next time. Don't forget, tomorrow, one more wisdom readings from Musa, and on Thursday, the book club. On Wednesday, meeting. On Friday, it's gonna be I think Hosi, yes. And on Saturday, Savia Sachi Das, obviously giving us an overview, and definitely I'm gonna catch that one, because today's introduction was just real. And on Sundays, catch Bongi Sipo, yeah, man, aka Makaveli, my brother. So yeah, thank you for joining today, and yeah, please join each and every day. When we give these readings between 7 and 7:30, and hopefully we'll try and keep it for 30 minutes. It's great. I think we should extend it to an hour. Okay, bye bye. Thank you.